Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today's Thursday, June 22nd. It is 6:21 right now. Market's going to open in about 9 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a couple things here to update and we should be good to go. All right. That's good. Good. All right, so let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. And we can get started shortly. Okay, let's get guys. Get a few moments for people to make their way in. All right, perfect. All right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, June 22nd. It is 6:23 right now. Market's going to open shortly. Let a few more people get into the room and we'll get started marking up liquidity real quick. I'm gonna have to be a little quick because we are getting close to market open. So I'm gonna start off by market liquidity right now as people continue to make their way in. Let's turn off the other indicators first. So that main focus can just be on identifying these areas of liquidity. So, all right. So we have a I'm not gonna put liquidity, I'm just gonna put daily. I think typing up liquidity is just, it takes too long. So I'm just gonna put daily there. All right, I think that's it. I'm gonna mark up one more. I'm not gonna get too far down because I don't think price is gonna go that far anyways. Got the daily right there. This is the 8-hour. 8-hour there. Eight-hour. That's good. Go down to 4. Hour. Down to the 2. It's good. 2-hour right there. Let's go down to the 1. All right, now let's go down to the 30. I believe for the 30, we start changing the colors. To indicate that they're weaker. 30-minute. There's a lot of liquidity up top that didn't get hit yesterday, so we'll see. But as you guys know, I try to avoid these lower liquidity levels. Not that they're like not significant, but they are weaker, of course. So let's see. 15. Let's say that 15 is probably going to get hit. We can get to it. I'm just going to mark them up. We already know that these are low levels, so I don't think the numbers really matter so much. We care more about the higher level ones anyways. 10-minute. It's not really gonna make a difference. It's like we'll still identify them as low level liquidity. Okay, so we got all the liquidity marked up right there. Let's go down to the 1 minute. All right, so closest level of liquidity is going to be right here for a buy. Bias right now is bearish. I know that because I did my own analysis pre-market. So we do have a level of liquidity right there. I don't know if I'll take that trade because price is overextended. You can see price is pushing up very heavily right here. I mean, this might even get hit pre-market or immediately on the opening candle. So yeah, and it already got hit right there. So next level of liquidity is going to be up here. So that level of liquidity already got knocked out pre-market. Overall bias right now, we'll just take a look at the trend. Trend right now is currently bearish on the higher time frame. It's bearish neutral. You can see the 30-minute is prices in between the pivots. Trend meter's red, pivots are angling down. Same on the 1 hour. It's bearish neutral. Prices below the prices in between the pivots. Trend meter's red, pivots are angling down. And the 4 hour right here is bearish neutral as well because the trend meter is still blue. Prices below the pivots, but the pivots are going sideways. Lower time frames over here, price is pretty much just going, it's crossing above, but it was bearish. So pretty much overall bias right now is straight neutral. As you guys can see, market is going to open in about 30 seconds. This level of liquidity already got hit. This is the next level right here, but you guys can see that price is very overextended, right? Price is pushed up from this point and has not retraced in about 600 pips. So I think price is getting close to being overextended right here. So if price does get to this next level up there, I'd probably be careful. I wouldn't enter right away, wait for the pullback retracement, and then possibly enter on the retest of that point. If price comes straight down, again, that'd be another level of overextension. And here he goes, price pushes up, hit that level of liquidity. Price is still overextended in my opinion, so I wouldn't take it right away. I'd probably wait for it to retrace back, wait for the fake out, and then possible. And then you can do it's doing exactly what I just said, right? I told you guys I was going to fake out and it did. So hopefully nobody entered it right away. You guys listened to me. I just wait for the retest because price is overextended. You can see price, if you just measure it from this point down here, this is all from experience, guys. Like this isn't something I can just teach you guys right away because I already knew this was overextended. Here we go, price pulls back down to this area. So what I would be looking for here is I would be looking for price to come back and retest that point. Price is overextended right here. So you would like to see price kind of consolidate around this area for a bit and then possibly come back for that retest. So I would wait for price to consolidate around this area right here, get close to it, consolidate, and then break through and go for that entry. But until it does this, I wouldn't get in just yet because it's probably going to fake out a second time. You guys want to keep in mind that the Fed is speaking right now as well. Or they're not speaking now, but they're going to be speaking soon at 6:55. So just keep that in mind, guys, if you guys are looking here. And just be patient. So you want to wait for this type of pattern to play out because price is overextended right now, as I mentioned. Here goes, price comes back down. If price does come back down to this lower level, again, you want to look for that same pattern. You want price to come down, consolidate, come down, consolidate, and then come down and hit the entry. So just be careful, guys. You know, it did exactly what I mentioned. I only know this because I've seen this pattern play out so many times. It's been doing this for the past couple of weeks. A lot of fake outs on liquidity. That's why liquidity is kind of hard to teach, because you have to actually have an understanding how to read the market, and understand how market trends are pretty much going over the past couple of days, past couple of weeks, past couple of months. The good thing with us is that we trade every day. So you guys, if you guys are just following on to my live sessions daily, you guys can see the market trends, because I analyze it the same way every morning. So again, right here, price is coming back down. And then we'll see if it comes down to this lower level or if it comes back for that retest above. But right now, trend is kind of all over the place with regard to the 1 minute. You can see price isn't really moving too smoothly. I'll go ahead and turn on the pivots here, just clean it up a little bit so that you guys can see a little better. There we go. Got everything on the chart. And then we'll see if price comes back to retest this upper level of liquidity, or if it comes down and hits this area right here. If the next area of liquidity gets, or if we end up hitting liquidity at some point, I'm probably only going to go for 100 pips. Like for example, price comes back up here, probably only going to go for 100 pips because of the movement. It's not very smooth, right? You can see right here that price is just going back and forth. If price was consistently going up, then great, I would go for that full 300 pips. But lately, the market has been very choppy. It's been like kind of going up, consolidating, faking out, and then eventually it does hit the full move. But I mean, look at how these candles are looking right here, right? Huge wicks on both sides, on the top side and on the bottom side. A lot of indecisiveness with regard to where price wants to go. The reason for this indecisiveness is because Powell is going to be speaking again later today. They're still testifying. You can see over here at 7 o'clock, Fed Chair Powell is testifying, and then Fed member Bowman is going to be speaking at 6:55 shortly prior. So Powell's still speaking today. A lot of people are kind of in the toss-up whether he's going to say good things or bad things about the economy. I think it's going to be a mixed bag. You guys listened yesterday to what he said. He said that the inflation is just going to keep going up. Interest rates are going to keep going up. We're not getting out of this recession just yet. And it's going to keep going up for the next couple of years. So that's not good for the economy. So just keep it in mind, guys. If everybody knows that that's going to be the case, then obviously a lot of people are going to try to sell, but you don't want to be selling at a time where he hops on and then he says something good, immediately stops you out and goes back into profit, because that's typically what usually happens. But this is the 1 hour liquidity. So this is actually a better level of liquidity down here. This up here was weak. It was 30-minute, but right here was a lot better. So I was more concerned with taking the sell here versus taking the buy. But again, I don't want price to be overextended. So as you can see, price is coming down right here. I want price to consolidate around here a bit, come down, touch it, consolidate a bit, and then break through. If it comes down and just blasts right through here, I'd be very careful about taking an entry, because it is overextended again, as you guys can see. And you don't want to get caught in the same fake out that just happened right here. So if you guys want to take this, I would go for just 100 pips. I would go for the full move, at least not yet. And then you can see right there, price starting to pull back. So this is the consolidation that we were looking for. We want to consolidate a little further. So we just want this to get a little messy right here. That's what we want. We want it to get messy. Doesn't have to be a clean consolidation, doesn't have to be a clean range. We just want it to get messy right here. The messier, the better. Because if it gets messy like that, that means people are confused, right? They don't know where price is going to go. The thing is, we know where price is going to go because we have liquidity marked up right here already. So we have an idea where price needs to go. It needs to go down to this area. And right there, price is coming right back up. Right back down to the middle. So as we watch this right here, I'm going to go ahead and mark up. I think we had news at 5:30, right? That's the only news event that came up today. We had news at 5:30, and I think that's it. So I'm going to just mark up the 5:30 news real quick on this chart. This candle right there. I'm going to mark up opening price as well. It's good to have an idea where price is likely to return to for retest. I'll try to switch back to liquidity right there. So we want a messy move right here. This is what we want. We want price to kind of go back and forth because it's overextended, of course. I don't want it to be this messy. I mean, I wanted it to be messy, but these candles here are way too big. If you measure the candles right here, it's like a 500 pip move right there. Huge spike to the upside again. You guys can see the market is going crazy right now. The volatility is just spiking everywhere. It came down. So from this point, it came down about 1,000 pips. It came down from here. It spiked all the way back up another 600 to 700 pips. So as you guys can see, if you guys are entering trades here, they're going to wipe you out on both sides. So just be careful. Don't enter trades too quickly. Be very patient. Wait for some consolidation. You kind of want markets to die down a little bit. Like the volatility right now is just a little too crazy. The problem with trading with this high volatility is that it can stop you out in either direction. You can be taking a sell, price will spike up, stop you out. You can be taking a buy, price will spike down, stop you out again, right? So just be patient, guys. This is all about discipline and waiting for the perfect opportunity to make entry. A lot of people always say that like entry doesn't matter. And I'd have to disagree. Entry does matter because you can get stopped out on both sides here. Like you can literally get stopped out for a sell, and then you can get stopped out for a buy here because price is coming all the way back down. So if you got in at the top over here trying to catch the push to the upside, you're being drawn down right now about 500 pips. So just be careful, guys, and be patient, right? I feel like the biggest problem with a lot of people is just patience. You can't wait for that perfect entry. You get FOMO. You feel like you're going to miss the trade. Or you see other people posting profits and you just want to make profits too, right? So don't FOMO, don't overtrade, don't revenge trade, don't do any of that stuff. Just wait. It's better to have no losses rather than to be stuck in a position, be super stressed out, and then get stopped out with a random spike. Because these spikes here are random. This is not, you can't predict these spikes here. I knew price was going to come down or go up, but I couldn't predict that we're going to have some crazy, wick candles right here. Because these candles are moving back and forth. They're not necessarily just dropping, they're kind of going back and forth. So just be patient. I mean, I'm trying to be as patient as I can too. I'm trying to feel that FOMO, but I'm gonna have to lead by example. So I'm not looking to take anything right now. I'm just waiting. I'm gonna go and mark up opening candle right there, opening price, then 8 o'clock. Price is coming back down. Let's see if price comes out and hits that 1 hour. So again, right here, you still want price to consolidate around this area a bit. You don't want it to like hit it just yet. You want it to go back and forth a little bit right here. Just slow down the consolidation a little bit, right? Because it's just moving too crazy. You don't want price to be moving crazy as soon as it hits your level, then it spikes up, right? You don't want something like that to happen. All right, it's going to hit liquidity right here. I'm not going to get into it because I think this is still overextended. So I'm not in this position right here. See, it did exactly what I said, right? It faked out. I'm hoping nobody hopped into that trade right there. It did like literally what I just warned everybody for. I said, don't enter yet because it hasn't really slowed down yet. Came down here, spiked all the way up. So that's a crazy spike. Look how price came down and it spiked up like 400 pips. That's a crazy spike to the upside. And there we go, spikes back down. I'm still not going to enter yet. The market is still moving a little crazy. These liquidity, even if you have a 300 pip stop loss, if it spikes up like 400 pips, you're going to get stopped out. Like it's crazy how it's moving right here. I think patience and discipline right now is going to be the biggest factor because I know a lot of people are probably getting tempted. They're like, oh, I just want to catch 100 pips. Like, bro, you can catch 100 pips, but you need to have a super huge stop loss because this thing it didn't even hit 100 pips yet. But it's still pulling right back up. So I'm not in the position. I'm still waiting. I'm just waiting for price to kind of slow down a bit. I'm gonna leave these levels of liquidity down here because I think price will come back down. And then when it hits or go back up, it doesn't matter if it goes down or up, but I think price will come back to these areas and they'll actually have their push through. It looks like it's just wiping everybody out. Like people who are looking to take entries in both sides, it's just wiping people out. It's coming down, triggering people's orders, and then just spiking back to the upside, or even up here, price going right here, basically grabbing all the orders and then spiking right back down. So I'll leave the liquidity level up right there, guys. But as I mentioned, right now is probably the best time to sit on your hands and wait because a lot of people are a little bit indecisive based off like what Powell is going to be announcing today. Obviously, he's not going to be announcing anything good, but it's just crazy. Look at every candle here. These wicks are huge. Like the wicks are way bigger than each candle body. So just be patient, guys. Just wait. There's no need to force anything right now. Like I wouldn't even want to be in this market. Like I would be so stressed out if I entered a position and then it went straight into my drawdown. I'd be super upset because there's just no reason to force anything at the moment. So just sit tight, guys. Yeah, C6 said insane to be entering anything right now. CERN said it's no clear direction. C6 said he might just come back when J Powell's done. Yeah, Maria said FTM was printing different candles. Yeah, Brock said super nasty for anyone in the pen. Van Hartwig said they watch your stream. Yeah, no, it's just the movement right now is just too wild, because the thing is, even if you have a big stop loss, you can easily get stopped out either way. I feel like the market's kind of just playing with people right now, because a lot of people, they know that Powell's going to speak today. I mean, you guys have probably seen a lot of people on Instagram and like YouTube, like people who just gamble, right? They try to trade news events and they get lucky. And the market makers know that. They know that people are trying to get lucky today. So what they're doing is they're taking orders. Like they're like, these are two strong levels right here, right? You can see the two levels here. I'll draw it on the clean chart and you'll see the two levels. I'll actually just do it right now. So they're basically just messing with people right now, which is messed up. But you know, the market makers are not dumb. They know that people are looking at these two price points right now. Price isn't just, it's in a huge range right now between this top point and this low point. Price just keeps going back and forth. And I think people are trying now at this moment, I think people are starting to try to catch the balances, right? So I think people are starting to see these zones. We already saw the zones because I drew these zones before market even opened, right? I knew the liquidity was down here. I knew liquidity was up here. But now that I was able to draw these zones, what do you think people are going to do? They're going to try to buy whenever price comes down to these areas, right? So price comes down and people are going to take a buy position there, right? And I'm just getting into the minds of like retail traders, because this is how I would think too. Price comes down, bounces, they're like, oh, this is easy. I'm just going to catch every bounce, right? As soon as the market makers like give them enough wins, like say like there's a couple wins here that happen, people just keep taking bounces right here, right? As soon as like, you know, like a few people get some wins, what do you think is going to happen next? They're going to spike price straight down and they're going to stop everybody out, because they're not going to let people just keep making money off these bounces here. So the thing is, like, you don't want to be the sucker that's getting caught in that right there. Because, you know, if you just think about it, just using common sense and basic logic, you see price bouncing off these two areas. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have done this before. You guys see two zones that were price ranges and you try to catch the bounce off support and resistance, right? This is your resistance. This is your support. Every time price comes down, you try to take a buy position. And then you just keep doing it every time price comes down. And then what happens a lot is people will wait. They'll just be scared to enter into the position, and they'll miss the first bounce, and then they'll miss the second bounce, and then they'll miss the third bounce. And then on the fourth bounce, when it comes down, they enter that buy position. And what happens? Price is complete opposite and blasts right through the stop loss. And I know that from experience, because that's happened to me. And that's why I don't get caught in those traps. Because I can see these things coming like in play. You just have to like, I mean, if you've been trading long enough and you've lost enough trades, you kind of figure out where the losing happens. And then you kind of just, you just kind of try to figure out how to not get caught in that. So I think the liquidity will still get hit. Liquidity is down here, right? So I think this liquidity, once it comes down and retest it, if people try to keep catching the bounce off this zone right here, I think price is actually going to blast right through, hit liquidity, and just stop right through. I think this is a good thing, actually. So, you know how we have liquidity down at this point right here, guys? So we have liquidity down here. And if people keep entering buys, like say, for example, people keep entering buy positions every time price bounces right here, there's going to be a bunch of stop losses sitting right here, right? So it's just going to reactivate the liquidity here. We still have that 1 hour liquidity. And when people keep catching the bounces there, their stop losses are going to get placed right there. And we're going to be ready to catch that as it blasts right through. It's basically just, it's reset. It's setting up our liquidity again. So I don't mind it. I want people to keep entering buys right there. They're going to get lucky until they can't. And then we're going to be ready to catch that drop to the downside. So yeah, no bias right now. Let me go and mark up opening price over here. I think it's this candle. I mean, if price does come back up, it's going to go back to New York open price, of course. But I think the market maker is going to mess with people here. So I would look out for that liquidity, because I think if it gets hit a second time or a third time, it's going to just blast right through. That's what I see happening. But we'll see. I mean, not all analysis is 100%. So that's just kind of what I see happening. Doesn't necessarily mean it'll happen, but from my experience, I think that's probably what's going to happen here. So here's a clean chart, or here's the main chart. Let me go and identify the overall bias. So today's overall bias, retail sentiment. Fundamental bias, short-term technical bias, long-term technical bias. All right, let's just take a look at everything real quick. All right, so looking over here on the higher time frames, so with a 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour time frames, you can see that price is below the pivots. The trend meter is red on the 30, same on the 1 hour, 4 hour over here. Trend meter is currently blue, but price is below the pivots, and the pivots are starting to angle down. So we're going to say it is bearish for the longer term bias. So we're going to put bearish there. Let's go over here to the short term, 1 minute, 5 minute, and 10 minute. You can see price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red. Pivots are angling down. It's somewhat bearish, but I would say it's neutral because price keeps going back and forth in between. So I'm going to put bearish neutral for short term bias. Now let's take a look at the fundamentals real quick. All right, the fundamentals are currently -78. So in order for it to be bearish, it needs to be below 100 points and consistently below that point. Right now it's below 78 points. So it's going to be bearish neutral as well. So we just need that to be a little bit more before we can start looking in that direction. Lastly, let's take a look at retail sentiment. So retail sentiment is currently 56% short. This indicates that 56% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So we typically want to do the opposite and buy. It's not very strong, so we're going to put bullish neutral. In order for it to be a solid bias, we would need sentiment to be 60 to 65% or more. So, all right, looking at the overall bias here, retail sentiment is bullish neutral, fundamental bias is bearish neutral, short-term technical bias is bearish neutral, and the long-term technical bias is bearish. So with that said, we don't really have a strong bias, but we can say that for the most part, it is bearish right now. So, I mean, we'll see. If it stays bearish, then great. Price comes back down and hits the lower level of liquidity here. It's going to align with our analysis because we do have a bearish bias right now. So we'll just have to wait and see where price ends up going. There's no entries here. I just don't see anything here right now, guys, at all. So after a lot of thinking, guys, I think we might swap out the high-low momentum scalp with V1 variations, because a lot of people have been asking me. I know we haven't really been looking at high-low momentum scalps lately, and I think we're just going to swap it out with V1 variations. We'll still look for high-low scalps, but I'm not necessarily going to be focused on that. My main focus is going to be on liquidity on this chart, and then also looking for V1 variations. Right now, we currently have a bearish neutral bias, so bearish neutral overall bias. So I'd be looking for V1 variations for a sell. If you guys are not familiar with the V1 variations, I'll be looking for price to establish a high. Any type of high could be a lower high, higher high, etc. And I'll be looking for a double body or double wick rejection. I'll put the criteria up here for the V1 variation. Most of you guys know it already, but I'll put it up here for people who are not familiar with it. The one thing that we have to be careful for as well is going to be the red flags. Red flags do apply for V1 variations. So we're basically going to avoid trades whenever they're near any of these horizontal lines. So the blue lines, purple lines, pink lines, red lines, etc. If price is near any of those areas, whether the TP needs to get to that area or break through it, or if price is touching it, we're not going to take a trade. That's going to be a red flag. If the candle prior to entry is too large, that's a given already. We typically don't take trades if the candle's too big. And then when price is ranging. So just keep that in mind, guys. Price is coming back up. It's breaking through and retesting the opening price right here. Huge candle as we get closer to Powell speaking. Powell hasn't spoken yet, but he is getting on shortly. Fed member Bowman's going to speak first in about 4 minutes. So I think price is going to come right back down. I think this is all manipulation before he speaks. And I think price is going to come right back down. There's a V1 variation that's setting up right here, but I wouldn't take it because, again, this candle here is too big. Plus another red flag opening price right here. Price is actually going to be having to touch it if price does come down to that point. I'll mark it up over here. And then we'll see. But, you know, again, I would not take this trade here personally because it is a red flag. I'll mark it up for you guys. So I'm not taking this trade here. I'm just marking it up. This is a V1 variation. Overall bias here is somewhat bearish. The price is right next to opening price right here. When to avoid trades, red flags, when price is near opening price, which is literally right there. So I'll mark it up for you guys. Again, not going to take it. This is just to follow through and see if it plays out. But I'm not going to be taking this trade here. This candle still has to close, so we'll see. Yeah, the candle's kind of, it's a huge wick on the bottom too. So I'll just leave it there, guys. I'm not taking the trade though, so I don't recommend anybody take it either, but I'm just gonna mark it up for you guys. You can see right there it's playing out. It's almost to that point, full TP. So if you guys take the V1 variation right there, full TP, I just wanted to show you guys that the strategy works. You know, we already have the bias here, so we knew price was going to come down. This is actually an okay entry because the candle pulled up very heavily. It was down here earlier, so it was like more of a riskier trade because it'd have to go through the opening price. Right there, you can see a smooth move straight to full TP. So if you guys caught it, great. But I didn't take it, so it's not going to count as a trade. So don't worry, guys. Not counting that trade as anything. I just want to give you guys an example there of a V1 variation for the people who are not familiar with it. This is a favorite for everyone though. When I created this strategy, I think everybody made like a crazy amount of profit. Everyone is like passing their challenges and stuff. Oh, and big congrats to Maddie too. So I don't know why people do this. Let me just delete this scammer real quick. Guys, if anybody posts any signals in the group, don't take their signals. And especially if they're called Best Forex Signals Channel, they're probably the worst Forex Signals Channel. And if they have to put their win percentage, it's a scam. Like, guys, there's so many red flags here. Whenever you guys see stuff like this, just think of it as a scam. If they have to prove that they're like their win rate or whatever, let them prove by trading, right? Like by trading live, like how we do every day. But yeah, just be careful with those scammers, guys. I've seen some people take like trades like that, and it never ends well. So anyways, Kenny over here with a total profit of 1,525. Looks like Kenny actually took the drop to the downside. He took, looks like he caught it when he got into the liquidity a little earlier, and he just went straight to his TP. I can see the timestamp here at 6:31. He just got in pretty quickly, made his profit. Nice work right there, Kenny. We got Dave over here. Dave locked in a total profit of 47.01. Looks like he took liquidity to the top side. Nice work right there, Dave. Or actually, he took the high level momentum. So he took the high level momentum on NASDAQ at 931. So solid work right there, Dave. Let me see if there's more profits here. We have Glenn over here, total profit of 960 for the day. Nice work, Glenn. So if you guys haven't made profits, it's fine, guys. There's no official entries that have came up. We have Natasha over here. She took the trade on open, total profit of 724 for the day, all wins. Nice work right there, Natasha. I see you took that 1 hour trade too. So I've been testing the 1 hour trade that I mentioned with you guys earlier, guys. I'm just testing the strategy out. So it's not an official strategy yet. Once it's all fine tuned, I'll show it to you guys. But right now, it's still under the works. But I did take a trade over here last night. I'm testing it during Asia to see how it works. I have to be the guinea pig here because obviously I don't want to be showing you guys a strategy that doesn't work yet or that hasn't been confirmed. So I took the trade last night during Asia session. It's like a set and forget type strategy on the 1 hour. I took the first trade here. I made 2,060 on my main account. This is with the green strips. And then here's my trade I took pre-market right here as well at, I believe, 6 o'clock. Entered right here, total profit of 2,120. So right now I'm currently sitting pretty nicely in profit with these trades that I've been testing. But there's no trades that I've taken during the live session yet. So I'm up 4,180 on my main account. Here is my FT1 number 2 count, my copier, total profit of about 4,000 as well. Here's my MFF number 1, total profit of 1,340, 1,140 here, and 1,090 on my MFF. You guys can see the slippage. I mean, it's crazy. This was pre-market. The market was moving super slow, so I wasn't expecting to get this much slippage. I think it's just their execution times, guys. With MFF, I don't think it's slippage because I traded during Asia session and see how these trades played out perfect because the market was so slow during Asia. So it just went straight to my full TP. I think MFF is just purposely executing trades late. It's not slippage. It's just they're executing trades late because the market was moving super slow and I still got 680 right here, or their spreads are too wide. I haven't checked because I don't trade on MFF. I just copy my trades to their accounts. So either their spreads are too wide or they're just executing trades late. It's not slippage because it's impossible for them to be that far off, right? Like this morning, I took this trade here, locked in 2,120. It worked in my favor, right? I made profit, extra profit. Over here, they gave me 460, which doesn't make any sense. They need less than half profit. So I don't know what's the case with MFF. Let me see. Maybe their fees are high. I don't have no idea. Let me just pull up my MFF account. So there's no fees. They're not charging extra fees. It just seems like they're either executing trades late, their spread's super wide. I don't know what it is, but I can't really recommend MFF to you guys anymore, guys. Unfortunately, they're still good. They still pay out, but I can't recommend it to you guys for scalping because they keep giving me half profits. It's been like this for like, 5-6 months now. Hasn't gotten any better. So just stick to FTMO for now, guys. If you want to do MFF after, feel free, but I can't really recommend them to you guys because I don't want you guys to be using MFF and then getting partial profits and then getting upset over that. So just stick to FTMO for now. I'll probably start trying out other funding companies just for backup, but for now I'm still using FTMO and MFF. All right, we got more profits over here from Eunice. Eunice is currently up 52.01 for the day. Nice work, Eunice. We got Alicia over here. Alicia, say good morning, Sean. Thanks for all that you do. Nice work, Alicia. Alicia is currently at 1,068 for the day. So great work right there, Alicia. Doing great. Other than that, I think that is about it right now. There's no entry here for the 1 hour, guys. If you guys are looking for that, there's no sell signal. So yeah, if you guys are following that 1 hour trade, I don't see any entry here at the moment. I just realized price came up here. So I don't know if anybody caught this, but liquidity came back up to the upside over here. And then it blasted right through. So as you guys can see, the retest over here, it played out, but not necessarily fully. So I don't know if anybody caught this liquidity here. I wasn't really looking for any buys here to begin with, so I personally wouldn't have taken it. But the liquidity did come back and retest that area, like we mentioned. If you guys waited for that retest, it came up right there, and you probably could have caught it for 100 pips or so. 300 pips didn't hit, but I believe 100 would have. Yeah. So the 100 pips would have hit. But again, it's kind of risky because I was looking for sells here. Looks like Sisu caught it. Nice work, Sisu. Yeah, even though it hit and it fell in with the analysis, I mentioned earlier this morning, I said, don't enter right here, wait for the retest. Came back for the retest here. If you guys re-entered here, it would have hit. I'm not going to count the trade as a win because I didn't take it. The only trades that I count here on the live sessions are the ones that I take. So just to be transparent with you guys, this trade is not going to count as a win. It was a winner, but I'm not going to count it as a win. And here we go, as price pulled right back down to this area down below. So you can see the fake out right there. So I drew that zone right there. It did exactly what I was mentioning earlier, right? So I mentioned earlier, people were going to be trading here. They're going to try to catch the bounce, right? What happened with the bounce? The bounce didn't happen. It went up and stopped everybody out. So I think this is exactly what I mentioned what was going to happen down here. I said, people are they're trying to catch the bounces off these zones. Whoever caught the bounce right here just got super burned because if they caught the bounce right here, it went straight to their stop loss. So just just keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. Don't fall for the trap that everybody else is falling for. Like we already knew this was going to happen. because I explained it to you guys. Everyone's looking to catch the bounces off support resistance, and that bounce literally went straight through. And then it went straight to their stop losses, and then it blasted right through there. So it just created another liquidity. Like whoever entered a sell right here, it just created liquidity up there because everybody's stop loss was sitting right there. Went on a stop loss hunt, stopped everybody out, and then now it's back to this area down here. Man, the market's funny, guys. It's crazy because like I'm just looking at it right here, and I'm looking at where people got stopped out. So people probably got stopped out right here who took sells, and then people who try to chase the buy over here got stopped out again because they're like, oh, price is actually breaking through the resistance. They take a buy right there. And what do you think happened at that point? They took a buy there, they get stopped out again. And then what do you think happens here? People, I'm sure this has happened to a lot of you guys because this has happened to me. You get stopped out right here and you're like, oh, I got unlucky. You get stopped out right here and you're like, oh, I got unlucky. And you try to enter another sell right here. So I can see people re-entering a sell right here. And I wouldn't be surprised if price pushes right back up and stops them out a third time. Because I'm sure this has happened to a lot of you guys. This has happened to me so many times when I first started trading. When you just revenge trade, you take a loss, and you enter this again for another sell because you think you got unlucky. It makes you think it's going to come down in that direction. So it looks like price is going to go up, go down a little bit, go up, go down, and then it stops you straight out. So just be careful, guys. You know, I'm giving you guys all of this information based off experience. It's not like I'm giving you guys some random info and giving you some motivational speech here. I'm literally telling you the stuff that I've learned over my years of trading. So I'd rather be sitting out of the market and not being caught in any of these fake outs right here than stressing out about being stuck in the position. And it's doing exactly what I just said, right? So whoever entered the sell there because they thought price was going to break back into the range is now getting stopped out as price pushes up higher. So just be careful, guys, with these entries here. Try to listen to my analysis and really soak it in because all the information that I'm giving you is from experience. It's not from some course that I learned because I've never taken a course before for trading. This is all from like actual trading experience and losses and stuff like that. So yeah, just chilling still, waiting for some sort of opportunities to come up here. You know, what I would look for here is I'd probably look for a V1 variation as price comes back. But let's take a look at the overall bias again, because it looks like things may have changed. Looking over here on the shorter time frames, price is now bullish. You can see prices above the pivots, trend meter is green, pivots are angling up on the 1, 5, and 10-minute time frame. So with that said, short-term technical bias is now bullish. We'll put bullish neutral. I don't want to put straight bullish yet. But yeah, bullish neutral. Long-term technicals they're still bearish neutral right now, but they're more on the neutral side. Let's take a look at the fundamentals. They're still pretty flat right now. So fundamentals are pretty much just straight neutral now. So as you guys can see, price is starting to shift a little bit, which is completely fine. I don't mind it. The thing is, Powell is speaking now, so he might be saying some good stuff and price might just come right back down. But yeah, looking at everything here, let's take a look at sentiment. Sentiment hasn't changed. So sentiment's currently bullish neutral. Fundamentals are neutral. Short-term technicals are bullish neutral. And long-term technical bias is bearish neutral. So right now we can't take any V1 variations. In order for us to have a V1, we need to have an overall bias, which we don't have right now. It's bullish, neutral, bearish, neutral. So it's really hard to tell here because it's got to be one-sided. It can't be going back and forth like how it's currently moving right now. If it continues to push up higher, that's fine. But you know, you just want to be careful. I can't emphasize being careful enough because you can really take a trade in either direction and still get stopped out. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So price is kind of just ranging around this area now. I'm gonna leave the zone up. Later on, I'm gonna take it off once price kind of chooses its direction. Right now, I'm gonna leave this up so that you can see how people keep getting stopped out. So there's a couple little areas here where we could have seen stop out happen. Stop out right there. Stop out right there. Stop out right there. And this here could be another fake out. I mean, who knows? Right, I wouldn't trust the market right now at all. This could be another stop out right here where people might think that price is going to the upside, and you just put a long position through there. If people are looking for that to go to the upside, where do you think price is going to go? It's probably going to come right back down and stop them out, because it looks like this is now the new range. This was the old range, price kind of faked out, and now it's creating a new range above here. But these are all stop out points. So just be careful with that. Dave is asking, quick question, the slippage on the copy trade to FTMO, should it be around that? I had put 25, but there are some trades that didn't open. I have my slippage set to 5 million, Dave. So if you want to have it set to that, you can. If you have it set to 5 million, it's just going to copy your trade no matter what. So even if there's some slippage, like, for example, here, my slippage wasn't that bad. I mean, if you set it to a certain amount, your slippage is going to be crazy, unless like price is spiking like 1,000 pips, which is not going to happen. It's not, unless you're trading like NFP, then you're going to get screwed. So if you're trading NFP, just turn off your copier. Don't even bother turning it on, because price is going to spike super crazily. But you can see over here the difference. So like my trade over here locked in 2,120. And then here's my copier. I locked in 1,920. So it was off by maybe like $100, maybe like maybe 1 point. It's not a lot. I have my setting set to 5 million just because I want it to always copy. Because if you have it too tight and the spread is kind of, and it spikes a little higher, it's just not going to copy your trade. So that's what I have it set to. Let's see. Daniel said, you drew a line for liquidity on MT4. Price never crossed, even though it did twice on TV. Yeah, that's happened before in the past, Daniel. It's because of the crazy movements right now in the market. When the market's super volatile, the data is kind of skewed. I'm looking at it right now, but what you mentioned happened to us in the past, Daniel. So that same thing happened where it touched on MT4, but not TradingView. So I didn't take the trade, but a few people in the group took the trade because they did what you mentioned. It happens sometimes. It doesn't happen very often, but there's going to be days where the market's very volatile like this, and they can't keep up with the market. Same with what Marina mentioned earlier. She said the candles were different for MT4 and TradingView this morning. That happens sometimes too. So usually those are going to be one of the red flags. If you see one of those things happen where price is not touching the same points for TradingView and MT4, or if the candles are different, it's probably a sign to just sit out of the market for a while until things start to stabilize. Sometimes FTMO will be, or MT4 will be lagging behind YM, but I would base majority of my trades off YM here because we're getting this data directly from the exchange. So this is going to be the most accurate data that you can get. FTMO has their own servers, so they create their own data. They take data from different providers, but they create their own servers. So their pricing is going to be slightly different, but this is going to be like a raw pricing for US30 or YM, whichever you guys want to call it. All right, let's see if there's anything else over here. Hussein's asking how should I buy lower liquidity, anything below 30 minutes. So anything below the 1 hour, Hussein, is going to be low level liquidity, in my opinion. I mean, it could be different for you. If you like trading 30-minute liquidity, then you can keep it blue. But if not, for me personally, I think anything below the 1 hour is it's okay liquidity, but it's not as strong. So just keep that in mind. All right, price is pushing up right here. I mean, if price continues to push up higher, we might be looking for some buys. The thing with this push up right here that you want to be careful for is that it's because Powell's speaking, right? Powell is now speaking. He was set to start testifying at 7 o'clock. So he is now speaking right now. We also had news over here, existing home sales. It was positive, and CB leading index. So we had news over here at 7 o'clock, all positive news. And that's probably the catalyst for pushing price up right here. So just be careful, guys. I can't emphasize saying that enough. I'm going to tell you guys all day today to be careful. If you have your setup that comes up, and it lines up with everything that you're looking for, then great, take the trade. But make sure to double check it, triple check it, quadruple check it. If you're taking an entry, you can even pop into the chat and ask me about it. I'll analyze it for you and I'll let you know. I just want to make sure that you guys aren't taking any like risky or bad trades. Because the problem with trading right now is that a lot of this stuff is manipulated price moves, right? These movements right here are going to be based off Powell and the Fed, because Powell is testifying right now. He could be saying good things about the economy and price could be going up, and that can be temporary. So the last thing you want to do is chase a movement in a direction, and then you get in too late, and then a few seconds later, Powell says something bad about the economy, right? Like right now, he's probably saying, okay, we're doing all right, we're on track, and the economy is getting better. And then a few moments later, he can say, yeah, we're doing all right, but we're going to have to increase interest rates. And when he says that, price is going to come right back down. So just keep that in mind, guys. Powell could say one thing that can flip the market upside down within a matter of moments. So you just want to be very careful about taking trades here, because we've been through this. If you guys have been trading with me over the past how many years now, 7 years now on these live sessions, you guys know that news has a huge impact in the market. A lot of people say that it doesn't, but I could beg to differ. Just to show you guys, and you'll see it right now, right? You'll see price kind of going up here, and don't be surprised if price comes right back down, because that's the power of Powell. Powell can say one thing and it'll just push price one way or the other, because a lot of people trade off emotions. And if Powell says something, people are going to act off their emotions, and price is just going to push in one direction or the other. I don't know what Powell's saying right now, because let me see if I can pull up his stream. See, youtube.com. And I'm not doing this to scare you guys, right? I'm doing this to protect you guys' account. I know a lot of you guys, it kind of throws you off, but I'd rather be paranoid and not get into a trade than hop into something and then have it hit your stop loss and then wonder why it happened. You're going to know exactly why it happened, because you traded when Powell speak. All right, so he's going on right now. Let's see if he's on the mic. I'm pretty sure he's on by now. Should be. All right, I'll come back. YouTube ads are running right now. All right, price is rejecting directly off the sessions right there. Nice. Andrew took he got half of that retest on the high. Maria took partial profits. CJ said he was tempted to take the pivot scalp, but he sat on his hands. Yeah, so price pretty much hit liquidity up here. The next level of liquidity up there. Blasted right through. And next level of liquidity right here. I think price might come back down from this point. It's way overextended, as you guys can see. Price pushed up from this low point up until here. It's pushing about 1,000 pips. It's due for retracement. So price may come down right here for a bit, may consolidate, may range, and then I look out for the direction. So see where price is currently at right now. I'd wait for this to consolidate right here a bit. And if you guys really want to take an entry, just wait for it to it's going to do one of two things. It's either going to consolidate here for it, break out and push up higher. There's no levels of liquidity here that's close by, but it's going to break out to the upside, or it's going to break out back to the downside. So if you guys want to keep an eye out on it, feel free. But I think Powell is speaking. Yeah, he is speaking right now. So you can kind of see the subtitles here of what he's saying. He's talking about mortgage rates right now. I wouldn't be surprised. And he said higher interest rates. So he's talking about interest rates, mortgage rates, that stuff. People are going to react to this stuff. Once this news, whoever's watching this live, people trade directly off news. So, just be careful, because this thing could really spike in either direction. But yeah, Powell is speaking. I'll try to look for entries, guys. I'm not out of the market completely yet. I'm still looking for entries here. I'm just being very careful. Yeah, so price starts to consolidate around this area. Let's delete these areas of liquidity. So price starts to consolidate around here. You'll see that people are just thinking. They're just thinking and waiting to see what Powell is going to say. Or they're going to wait for people to react off what he says. So yeah, Powell is currently live right now. The consolidation right there that I drew is playing out. We'll see what happens here next. All right, we got some more profits here from Kenny. Kenny took another trade, total profit of 2012. Looks like Kenny took those liquidity pushes right there for the buy side. when price hit the liquidity over here that I just took off. Looks like Kenny took those trades right there. I can see the timestamps. Yeah, he took those trades right there. Total profit of 2012 for the day. Nice work, Kenny. We got Angela over here. Angela said, hi, I'm going to start sending profits so I can take accountability for stupid trades I take. Kind of scared to send them, but here goes nothing. So Angela over here said that she's going to start sending me profits, guys. You know, it doesn't hurt, guys. If you guys are scared to send your profits in the group, just send them to me privately. Just to keep yourself accountable, right? So like now Angela sent me her profits for the day. She's currently up 2,680. She's doing good. Just started a new account. I can see the balance here. Just started. This is a brand new account. 2 wins right here. Looks like she took liquidity at 705, 711. Yeah, she took the liquidity right here, and then she took the liquidity right here. Both liquidity pushes. You know, if you guys know my strategies, you guys can take these trades. I'm only going to take them if I know they're for sure going to hit. So I wasn't for sure about these here because the bias was shifting. Angela took them. She's up in profit, a total profit of 2,680. So yeah, guys, if you guys need accountability, if you guys are stuck with revenge trading and over trading, just send me your profits, whether the wins or losses. I'm not going to judge you. I might ask you, like, what did you do there? So I can help you understand where you made your mistakes, but I'm not going to judge you. I'm gonna try to help you get past that. So nice work, Angela, and big step in the right direction by sending me your profits for today. Here's Vincent. Vincent's currently at 405 for the day. Nice work, Vincent. So like this is the same thing, right? Vincent sends me his profits every day. If you look at Vincent's profits here, he sends them every day. He can find his consistency. He made 405 today. He made 600 yesterday. He made 300 the day before that. You know, he sends me his losses. He made 100 the day before that. He knew he made a dumb mistake right there, and then he came right back. He made it right back. You know, he had a negative day the day before that. And this is easy because if you guys send me your profits every day, you can just scroll up like, okay, I had a bad day today. What did I do wrong? Had a bad day today. What did I do wrong? Right? Good day today. Good day here. And you can see that you can like literally just scroll up from our chat and you guys can see your consistency. All right, so price is breaking out of the range right here. You can see how I marked it up. Price range right here did exactly what I mentioned. Broke out of the range, went up or went down, and price did come down from here. So let's see where he's at. CJ said Kenny is racking it up every day. He reminds me of Kevin a little bit. Right. No, Kenny's been pretty good. I mean, he's consistent. I see he's like one of the first people to post profits in like every group every morning. So that's a good thing though. Kenny, it keeps you on track, keeps you accountable. You understand. But here's the thing: if you guys ever message Kenny, he's probably not going to tell you because people have messaged Kenny before, and Kenny's messaged me. He's like, I don't know why people are asking me questions. Like I know everything. But Kenny, he just kind of he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, but he can't really explain to you what he's doing. So just keep that in mind. You guys do see Kenny posting the group every day. And I know sometimes you guys message him and ask him, like, hey, Kenny, what are you doing differently? Like, how are you profiting every day? But he's not going to be able to explain it to you. So just give you guys a heads up. The thing is, he knows what he's doing though. So, all right, so price is coming back down. There's no V1 variation up there. Typically, when price starts to reverse, I try to see if there is some sort of reversal pattern. The only thing that I can see here is that price bounced directly off of the sessions. So it just rejected off the sessions. It's coming back down right here. I don't know if this will hold. As you guys can see from earlier, we marked up that the bias is still kind of mixed. So until I get a bias, I can't take these V1 variations. But you guys can see how messy the market is. Let me go over here and let me go and I'm going to go and make some adjustments right here with regard to the range. So we got the higher high right there, and we have lower low right there. So I mean, price is still in the same range. It just got super wider, like way wider. It's basically the same range from earlier. All right, yeah, so here's a clean chart. Powell is still speaking. You know, Powell probably said something bad and price just came down, and then now he's pricing something good and price is coming back up. The thing with Powell is like you can't really predict what's going to happen because he'll say something and the market can do the complete opposite. The problem with trading news is that people trade both sides. Like you can trade the proper direction. Like if he says something good about the economy, you can like buy and price will go up. However, the market makers aren't going to make it that easy. They'll let price kind of go up a little bit. They'll spike it down to stop people out, and then they'll push it back up. So yeah, if you guys do trade news or plan to trade news, just be careful for the fake outs because the fake outs are like dime a dozen. They come up so often. All right, so this here played out, the consolidation played out, and then it broke down to the lower end. Now I'm going to clean this back up. And we'll see. Kenny said, I'm not even sure what I'm doing. I just take a shot in the dark. Rashid said, well, let me turn the lights out and pull the trigger. Yeah, no. Kenny says he doesn't know what he's doing, but he does know what he's doing because he's listening to my analysis. I think what Kenny does is he just listens to what I say. Like he doesn't know what he's doing, but he listens to my analysis. If I say price is going to go somewhere, he just takes a trade and it goes there because typically my analysis does play out. So like, for example, here I said price would need to consolidate and it was going to break down either direction, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Kenny just waited for price to break out of that range, come down, and he just took a random sell. I feel like the thing with Kenny's just he's really good at listening. He might not have a strategy down, but he's good at listening to my analysis because Kenny's been here every day for like the past, I don't know, Kenny, you've been around for like since the beginning. So you've been on every live session for like the past 5 years now, it seems like. And I feel like my analysis just resonates with you very well. So nice work, Kenny. I'm glad to see that you're consistent because I know before you weren't very consistent. You were kind of back and forth, and now you're kind of just consistent. Other than that, let's see. Kainer said, morning, Sean, been watching you for a few days now and you're doing an amazing job. Currently going through your free course. Keep up the good work. Definitely, Kainer. Yeah, if you have any questions, just pop into the chat. I'm always here to help whoever wants help. Kevin said, I know how to trade and I absolutely listen to Sean. His analysis is always spot on. Yep. So, it goes hand in hand. If you guys know how to trade and you guys know how to use my analysis to your advantage, it's a surefire win to win almost every trade. Like with Kevin here, Kevin basically listens to my analysis, but he knows how to trade. So if I'm saying price is going to go down and he's looking for sells, he's going to hit all those sells. Same with, the opposite direction. Yeah, Satyam said, I agree with his analysis. Saved me 2 losses today. Definitely. Nice work, Satyam. Satyam's like one of the people too. Like Satyam's only been here on the YouTube and he's been killing it every day. And Barney too. Satyam and Barney and Glenn. 3 main guys here on the YouTube that don't ever miss. Yeah, you guys been doing pretty good. So here's some more profits here from, let's see, from Alicia. Alicia said, got in at the wrong time on the liquidity push for the sell. She got stopped out, but she made it right back. So Alicia over here took a couple losses. She hopped right back in for the buy side. Total profit of $37.92 for the day on her personal account. Nice work, Alicia. So solid profits right there. And here's Tiana. So nice work, Tiana. She's back here in the group. Total profit of $2,823 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Tiana. New account right here too. So she just opened this account, looks like today. And she had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back-to-back wins. Nice work, Tiana. All right, guys, solid work. Unfortunately, we're not able to find any entries right now. It's kind of tough with Powell speaking. I'm still looking for entries, so don't worry. We're not done trading yet. All right, let me check the bias real quick. We have a possible V1 variation here for a buy, but let me check. Fundamentals are still neutral. Technicals here are kind of mixed. Yeah, it's tough right now, guys. There's no bias right now. The higher time frames are still bearish neutral, so we can't really use that for a bullish confirmation. The lower time frames over here are bullish neutral. The 1 minute here is very mixed. The 5 minute here is still bullish, and the 10 minute here is still bullish, but they're pretty mixed. So it's hard for us to get a bias here. The reason why we want to take a bias is because even if you get in at a bad V1 variation, like say, for example, a V1 variation comes up right here, right? And say price starts to go into drawdown. Let me just mark it out for you guys here. I just want to give you guys the logic behind why we use the bias here. So say, for example, you get a V1 variation up here and it doesn't play through, right? And then price goes into drawdown. And then say you get another V1 variation down here. You might have gotten in a little too early, but that second V1 variation, since you have a bias, it'll correct back up and eventually it'll go back to your TP. So I personally use the bias to my advantage. So you can make mistakes, but if you have a bias, price will eventually go back into profit. You can either get back out at break even, or you'll get out in profit because price will just shoot back up and correct into your direction. So the bias is very important, in my opinion, with every trade that you take. You don't want to take any random trades. At least have some sort of bias when you guys are trading. So even if you make a mistake, you get in early, you get in late, odds of price coming back to where you need it to go is very likely. So for me personally, I would like price to come back down because the higher time frames here are bearish. So I would like lower time frames here to turn bearish as well. And I would rather look for a bearish bias because the higher time frames are always going to be leading, right? Right here, they're bearish, so I do want price to come back down. However, the other thing here too is retail sentiment. This is neutral, so it's not really useful. But if this was on one side, then I would want price to be on that side too. So, I mean, we'll see. It's just all about patience. Hopefully we can get at least one good trade here. If not, we're not going to force anything, but I'll try to set them up for you. Let's see, question from Patricia. She's asking, Sean, the 1 hour strategy, what settings do you have for the trend meter? I have them set to the 1 hour, Patricia. So I use the 1 hour trend meter and I'll show you guys. So I'll do a little, I was going to show you guys my analysis for the 7 o'clock trade. I don't think there's anything going on right here, so I don't think we're going to miss anything. So I'll try to give you guys a quick analysis of like what I do personally when I'm identifying those 1 hour trades, because there's more to it. Like it's very simple where you're just looking for momentum. Like that's just the bare bone way of applying the strategy. But I still do a full analysis on multiple time frames to identify if I think price will actually go in that direction. Because sometimes you'll just get like a bad trade and it'll just go completely against you. So we'll let me just answer whatever questions we have left here in the chat, and then I'll give you guys an analysis of how I look at US30 to identify if price is going to go in that direction. So let's see. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Natasha said, Sean, someone in the group said I was a troublemaker. Can you please let them know that I'm a saint? Yeah, no, Natasha's good. She's a saint and she's in progress. But no, she's good. Natasha, yeah, Natasha's been actually pretty solid. The thing with Natasha's trading though that you guys want to be careful for is that she trades on her phone. So just be careful if you guys are trying to like mimic what she's doing. Sometimes she takes trades on her own and then she kind of she kind of works her way through it. But I know some people try to figure out what Natasha's doing. She does good too, but because she does trade in both directions sometimes. I think the first trade was the she actually told me she took the 1 hour entry like I did, and then this one right here was the liquidity push, so slightly different. Question from Satyam, he's asking, is that a V2? There's no bias right now, Satyam, so there's no entries here until we have a bias. So it's a V2 pattern, but it's not a V2 entry. I think that's something that a lot of people keep overlooking is the bias, right? There's no bias right now, so we can't really take any of the V1s or V2s, any variations, basically any strategy except for the high level momentum scalp. You need to have bias confirmed, but that is a pattern there, second, for a V2. All right, Van Hartwig, we'll see you back here tomorrow. So he's logging off for the day. But anyways, so yeah, Patricia, for the 1 hour, so I use this this chart over here to identify my 1 hour entries. It's the one at the green tab. I use the 1 hour trend for the trend meter down below. I use momentum on both the 1 minute and the 1 hour. I try to confirm that. So like, let me show you guys for example here. So for the 1 minute, for the 7 o'clock entry that I took today, it was right here at 7 o'clock. Or was it 7 o'clock? No, it was 6 o'clock. Sorry. So the entry I took this morning was this one over here at 6 o'clock. Or was it? 6 o'clock. It was this one right here. I went straight to TP. So when I'm analyzing the charts, guys, I'm usually looking for, sorry, that's not even the right one. 6 o'clock. Okay. Here. There we go. All right. Yeah. So this is the entry that I took this morning, applying that strategy. Again, there's no criteria for it yet. Just keep that in mind, guys. There's no criteria for it because I'm still working it out. So everything that I'm showing you here it could completely change by tomorrow, right? Or it could change by today if I see something different that I need to be doing. So I'm looking for entries off the hourly chart, looking for momentum. I have a sell momentum here, trend meter's red. That's the basic concept of the entry. I also look on the 1 hour to see if it aligns. I don't know why it does that sometimes. Here, I'll just do this. Let me go back, go on replay. So let's go back to 6 o'clock, right? So this is where the entry played out. I'm looking at the trend meter down below. Let's take off the pivots because I don't really use the pivots. All right. And I'll leave the high lows here, or I'll just turn them off for now. So I look at the trend meter down below. It's the 1 hour trend. I just change all the settings to 1 hour. I got a bearish bias here, right? I look for momentum. It's bearish here. I'm like, okay, if that's the case, price is probably going to keep pushing down at least 100 pips. So that's like my first step right there. Next, I'll go down to the 1 hour. And I'm like, okay, it's bearish right there too, for sure. It's probably gonna push through. So I'm like, okay, this lines up on the 1 hour, great. I have everything lined up right there. The next thing that I do is a little more complicated. Like I go over to the 1 hour first. I'll turn on my high lows. Like this is where the skill really comes in because I do like a full analysis. It's not something I can necessarily teach because there's so many steps to it. So I'll go down to the 1 hour. And then I draw my structure, right? I'm like, okay, I see the structure there and I'm like, all right, price is going sideways. If it goes down, it can probably go down and touch this area down here. So I do that, go back to the 1 minute. I'm like, all right, perfect. Structure's marked up. I go down to the 15 minute. I do the same thing. I'm like, all right, where's price going to be moving from, right? I got everything marked up right here. I need that lower level. So I go over here and I draw my lower level right there. Then I go down to the 5. I'm like, all right, let me see where price is at. And I look at my entry here and I'm like, okay, is there any clues here indicating that price is going to keep coming down? I zoom out a little bit. I'm like, all right, price is bearish, right? I got everything marked up. I clean up the chart a little bit. I see stuff right there. And sometimes I'll draw my own trend lines. I'll just draw like my own, I mean, it's not necessary, but sometimes I'll just draw my own stuff here and I'll be like, okay, price is coming down. Is my trade going to hit, right? So I'm like, all right, for sure, it's going to hit. I got everything set up there. I already have the analysis set up, the original analysis, and I just have all these different confirmations that I look at. And I have it set up like that. I'm like, okay, everything looks great. I'm going to enter the trade. I let the trade run, and I just set and forget it and go straight to my TP. So that's a trade that I took this morning. You guys can see there's multiple steps that I take. So this isn't a strategy that I can teach you guys yet because it's not that simple. It's simple from like the gist of it. Like, yeah, it's easy looking at momentum and the trend meter, but I do different things to confirm confluence. I don't necessarily just enter the trade just because it sets up. I look at it and I make sure. That's why all my trades are winners, because I don't take dumb trades, right? The strategy's there, but I do a full analysis of the market. So just a heads up, guys, I'll give you guys these strategies, but there's always like these little inconsistencies and stuff that I look for to make sure that, okay, this trade has to hit. That's why all my trades are always hit, because I do a full analysis of the market. So there's just a quick little preview of that strategy. The strategy is great. I mean, it works every hour. You don't have to do the full analysis. But the thing is, I don't like losing trades. So like whenever I do take a trade, I make sure like 1,000% that trade's going to hit. So if we have another one here coming up at 8, I'll do the analysis again. But yeah, for the most part, basically looking for momentum and then looking for the trend to align with it. But yeah, that is pretty much my my breakdown of like what I do. I make it look easy, but it might not be that easy for everybody. It all comes with experience. All right, so back to the charts over here, guys. There's no bias still yet. Let's see. Satyam's asking. So we're not taking high level momentum anymore. I mean, people are still taking them, Satyam. I'm not taking them. Well, I mean, if I see a good one, I'll take it, but I'm not necessarily. That's not my primary strategy anymore. For the most part, it still works fine. It's just it doesn't come up very often, and when it does come up, I usually miss it. So you can apply it if you want. Like once you get the indicators, you can apply it, but it's going to be hard for you to see unless like, you know, you have my analysis backing it up. Satyam's asking, can we wait for a price to retrace and put in a limit order in the direction of the trade? I mean, you can do whatever you want, Satyam. If you think that works, then yeah, great. But I mean, it's really up to your preference, right? I don't do that, so I wouldn't tell you to do it, but if you're asking if you can do that, yeah, you can do that if it works for you. I don't like putting limit orders, guys, because the spread sometimes gets crazy. So we talked about this over the past couple of mentoring sessions. You know, Andrew mentioned this actually. It was a good point. He mentioned that that the spreads have been pretty crazy over the past couple of days. Like they'll kind of spike. Sometimes it will be like 150, sometimes it'll go up to like 260. And if that's the case and you have a pending order, you're going to get into the trade too early because your pending order is going to get triggered due to the spread. So, I mean, if you want to put a pending order side, that's on you. You can do it, but I'm not going to tell you to do it because I don't necessarily. I rarely put pending orders. So that's like a question that a lot of people ask me about, but I don't put pending orders very often. The only time I put them is like if we're getting a liquidity push and I'm answering questions and I don't have time to like put in the manual order. But for me, I almost always do manual orders. I maybe do pending orders like once or twice a month. And that's only out of convenience. So yeah, it's up to your preference, but I wouldn't recommend it. For me personally, I wouldn't recommend it because it's not the way I trade. Let's see. All right, yeah, if there's any other questions, guys, feel free to put them in the chat. Unfortunately, it does not look like we're going to have anything to take today specifically. I was kind of hoping price would come back down to this area. I mean, it might come back down in the next, very low chance for it to come down here within the next 10 minutes. But I was hoping price was going to come back down because I wanted that retest of the 1 hour so that I can ride this down for at least, 100 pips or so. But I mean, you guys can see here from the clean chart, it's just in a huge range. It's been faking out in both directions, faked out, bound down here. This was a previous resistance, faked out right there, came back down, faked out, came up, faked out right here. It's just a bunch of fake movements. And you can see where price is currently at right now. It's back at opening price. See the blue line right here? This is where market opened. So it's 6:30 about an hour ago. This is where market opened. And look where price comes back to. Pushes away, fakes out, goes back to opening price. Massive manipulation right here, pushes up, fakes out, comes back down, and it's back at opening price. So now that it's back at baseline right here, which is the opening price, one of two things will happen. Price is either going to bounce off here and come right back up, or price is going to break below and come back down, right? As you guys can see, there's really no direction here because if there was a direction, price would have never came back to opening price. Whenever price doesn't come back to opening price, that's actually a good market because you can just keep trading in the direction of that bias. Right here, it's hard for us to get a bias because price will push down. We'll get a sell bias and price pushes up. We get a bullish bias and price comes right back down. So it's hard to trade in this type of markets because there's no bias, right? Typically, you want something where market's moving straight, like something like this, right? I know this isn't New York, like yesterday's session, but you want something like this. Like you want market to open, say like right here, like say this is opening, this is market open, right? And you want price to push away from it and never come back. Like this is a perfect type of market to trade in because in a situation like this, you'll have a bearish bias. And when you have a bearish bias like that, you could just literally take every sell. You guys know this feeling when you ever have a nice bias, you just literally take every sell. You get a sell signal, pivot scalp, pivot scalp, pivot scalp, etc. There's like so many entries you can take, right? But we don't have that today. Today, the market is not doing this. So this is an example of the type of market that you want. It doesn't necessarily need to be clean, but you want it to keep pushing in one direction. So this is what we would consider a good market, because you can take V1 variations and just keep, adding up your wins right there. But if you go to the market for today, it's definitely not that, right? Price push down, fake out, pushed up, fake out, push down, and then it's just coming back down. So that liquidity might get hit, actually. I'm looking at it right now. The problem with this here is that it's overextended. So I actually want price to consolidate around this area first before it comes down and touches this level, because this here is a huge overextension. So if you measure price from here up to this point, price has dropped about 1,115 pips or 1,150 pips and has not retraced yet. So just be careful. I wouldn't necessarily recommend, hopping into the liquidity here, because this just might be another fake out like it did right here. So just look back to what happened previously right here. And this again might be the case. The price fakes out at that point and goes right back up. So you guys can see that the market here is very unpredictable. And this is why I'm kind of looking out for you guys, because I don't want you guys to be taking dumb trades where you could have been, the trade could have been easily avoided. But it's actually coming down. I wasn't expecting it to, this is what I said I wanted to happen, and it's actually happening. Let's check Powell to see if he's still speaking. Okay, Powell's still speaking. So we'll see. I'm trying to figure out what they're talking about right now. Okay, they're talking about the European Union. And we'll see where this ends up going through. Yeah, CJ said another pivot scalp hit, but it doesn't go with overall bias. So he's just going to come back when Powell's finished speaking. Jonathan said dumb trades equate to blown accounts. Exactly. So don't take any dumb trades, guys. Be careful. Price is overextended right here. You want to wait for some sort of consolidation range. And if price does come back down and hit this area, then great, take that for a quick 100 pips. But at the moment, so what I would like to see here is, so here's the thing that I'm doing. The thing that I see here personally is I see people identifying this as a double bottom, right? Classic double bottom right here. However, we're looking at this in the opposite view. So people are identifying this as a double bottom. What do you think the market maker is going to do? They're going to actually blast price right through into our liquidity, because this is the same thing that happened up here, right? People were trying to identify this as a double bottom or like some type of bottom bounce, but the market makers are doing the opposite. Now that people are entering buys here, I actually hope people enter buys here, because now that people are entering buys, what do you think's happening? We're having a bunch of stop losses getting placed down here, right? So yeah, this is actually good. This is beneficial. I wanted to see this play out, because now that we have this consolidation here, what I told you guys about, now when price comes down, it's going to blast right through liquidity, because it's creating new liquidity down here. So there's more liquidity that's starting to build up here if people start to take buys here, because they think that this is a double bottom. Yep. So I got this marked up right here. See how it's marked up? All right, this is actually a perfect setup. So if price does come back down, I'll probably take this for a sell for that liquidity push. It's just a retest of the area. People are identifying this as a double bottom. So if price comes back down, you can expect people who identify this as a double bottom to get stopped out. So I think price might push up slightly. It'll come back down and it'll just blast through and hit liquidity. So just watch out for that level down there. If price gets down below this point, I think this is where people are going to get stopped out, and you can take it for a quick, liquidity push back at that 1 hour level. Price might come down and knock out the next level right here too. C6 said, awesome. I have the same setup with markup. Yeah, looks good, C6. Yeah, C6 said confirmed. So here's some profits over here from C6. Or yeah, C6 has the same thing marked up too. It's looking for that liquidity to come down. So we got some profits here from C6 earlier today. First account, total profit of 3,934. Nice work, Sisu. So good profits right there. His second account, total profit of 3,735. And then Sisu's third account, total profit of 3,685. Nice work, Sisu. So great profits right there. All right, so let's wait for this to play out. This might align with the 1 hour strategy too, because we have we have it setting up right there too. So we're basically just looking to do the opposite of everybody. If everybody's looking to take buys here off that double bottom, I'm looking for price to actually come back down and stop them out. So we'll see. See some sort of confirmation here. Looking for these people to get stopped out, because that's where liquidity is sitting. Right down there. I'll still speaking though, so you want to be careful, because even though we have this setup right here, I mean, Powell could say something, price might just spike up. Hussein is asking, hi Sean, is the 1 hour strategy 1 hour strategy is suitable during trading hours only? I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm still testing it. It's only been a couple of days, Hussein, so I can't give you any answers regarding the strategy until I test it. I took trades last night to test the Asia session, and it works well. So it works. It seems like it works throughout the day. It's just it takes longer to hit during Asia. Like I took this trade yesterday at 4 o'clock. I took this first one at 4 o'clock. This trade took 2 hours to hit 100 pips, right? That's a long wait for a scalp. So, I mean, it works, but it takes a long time. So I can't give you any answers on that until I have I'm forward testing the strategy. It's not back tested, it's forward testing. So you got to give me a couple months before I can give you some answers, whether it works during those hours. I don't like back testing strategies, guys. So just, an FYI, because the back test, the results are always going to look good during the back test. So I've already back tested it as far as I can go. It looks great, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to keep going that way in the next couple months. So you got to give me some time to actually go and test it and let you guys know, because I forward tested. I don't like back testing. I like forward testing. It helps me test my emotions. Like this trade was kind of tripping me out yesterday. I was kind of getting annoyed with this trade because I got in at 4 o'clock and then it hit 5 and the price was like going to draw down. And it was just going sideways for like a good hour. And then I just left it alone. I went to a comedy show last night. And then as soon as I got to the comedy show, it went straight to TP. So it took like over 2 hours for it to hit, but it did hit. So yeah, once I get more information, I can let you know. But, this just goes back to to me telling you guys, just stick to what's available, guys. Like Hussein, you don't have to be on this next 1 hour strategy yet. I barely started testing it out. Focus on getting better at stuff that you're not good at yet, like liquidity push and V1 variations. Those are probably what you guys should focus on at the moment, because that's what we're doing here on the live. Well, once I have enough information on the other stuff, I'll start telling you guys. But there's just too much to really put into play. Like if you saw, I don't know if you saw how I analyzed the chart earlier, Hussein. Like if you can't do that on your own, then you shouldn't even bother with it, because there's a lot of different checks that I check off before I actually take the entry. So, all right, guys, there's no entries right now. If there's any questions that you guys have, it's 7:50 right now. We're about 10 minutes till 8. Price is going back up. I'm assuming Powell might have said something here. So they're basically asking Powell what he thinks about the job market and stuff like that. I'm just reading the subtitles right here. But he's just answering questions. They're questioning him, and then he's answering questions, and whatever he says can easily just manipulate price to the upside or to the downside. So it's really hard to tell. But going back to the clean chart, so this setup here didn't play out yet, or it's not at that point yet. I think if it does come back down, it's probably gonna come back and smack it. But as you guys can see over here, it's right back at opening price, right? So the opening price acts as a magnet, like I mentioned earlier. Price will fake out, move around opening price, fake out, come back to opening price, fake out, come back to opening price. And when it goes back to opening price like that, it just shows that there's no direction of price. It just keeps going back and forth. So this is what I call baseline. It's just, this is where market opened for today. And price just keeps coming back to it. Let me check the calendar to see if there's anything else going on today. I think, let's see. So we got crude oil inventories at 8 o'clock. I probably wouldn't take that 1 hour trade at that time, guys, because the news here is probably going to affect it at market open, or not market open, but like on candle open. You're probably gonna get a big spike. So I probably wouldn't mess with it. There's just too many there's too many factors that can affect price. That's what I don't like trading that specific strategy. When there's something that can affect it. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to affect it, but it can affect it. We had more news over here at 7:30. So I'll go and mark that up over here too. Just oil news, nothing too crazy. More oil news there, and more at 8 o'clock. All right, so if there's any other questions that you guys have, guys, go ahead and ask away. It's 7:53 right now, so market's we're gonna get off this live session soon. So if there's any other questions, I'll just wrap it up with the questions. If I don't see anything here in the market, I'll do another full analysis of the bias, but I don't think there's a bias right now. So you can't really take these V1 variations or V2 variations at the moment. So let's start off with retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is currently 57% short right now. Indicates that 57% of retail traders are currently selling. So it's not really, it hasn't changed too much. Still bullish neutral. Looking over here at the fundamentals. Fundamentals are currently down 60 points. So we'll say it's still neutral. I wouldn't necessarily say it's good yet, but it's still neutral. Short-term technicals, let's take a look at that. Short-term technicals are currently bearish neutral. The 1 minute is bearish because price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. Same with the 5 minute over here. However, the trend meter is green, price is in between the pivots, and same with the 10 minute over here. This is also neutral. So short-term is just straight neutral now. It's not even bearish anymore. It's just neutral. Long-term bias with regard to technicals is currently still bearish. It's bearish neutral. So 30 minute here is below the pivots, trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. Same with the 1 hour, and the 4 hour over here is pretty much neutral. So I'll put bearish neutral for that. Yeah, still looks about the same. Here we go. As price comes back down and retest that area. All right, so now that price is coming back down to this area, I'm expecting people to identify this as a triple bottom. But I think at this point, price is actually going to break through and hit liquidity. So just watch out for that liquidity area right there. You also got to be careful because the news is coming up in about 5 minutes. We have oil news right here in 5 minutes. It can easily affect the market. I was still talking to. All right. All right, so I'll hang on for a bit. We'll see how this plays out if price comes down below. If there's any questions, guys, feel free to pop into the chat. Otherwise, if it gets close to 8, I don't see anything happen, then I'm just going to wrap it up. CJ is asking, are there any other strategies we can take when the market is neutral other than the high level momentum? One other strategy that you can apply is the SR rejection scalp, CJ. That's probably the only other one that's really good during the sideways market. Yeah, because everything else requires a bias. So I think that's the only strategy. I mean, you should have a bias still, but like even a small bias, but I don't think it's necessary. Let me put the criteria up here for that. I can't remember because it's been a long time since I've covered that strategy like in detail. But I mean, I know the gist of the strategy. It's just identifying, like every time I trade, I still use a bias, even if it's not part of the criteria. So it's hard for me to say, but yeah, for the SR rejection, it seems like you only use a trend from what I remember. But yeah, if there was one strategy that I'd say to look at if you're looking for because generally when market is neutral or if there's no bias, typically market's going sideways. And that's the main reason why we created this strategy here for a sideways market. So this might be the main other strategy that you can look at. Let's see, Glen City took a V1 at 751. 751. Oh yeah, this one right here. So we took the V1 for a sell right here. Nice work, Glenn. Kind of risky because there's no bias, but you did identify that properly. All right, 7:57, guys, getting close to 8 o'clock. Any other questions, guys, before we wrap this up? I don't think price is going to come down. It looks like price might just stay flat. I would be careful taking any trades right here. I wouldn't take any trades at the moment, guys, because at 8 o'clock is oil news and Powell's still talking. So he could say something, and then at that hourly mark, price can really just spike up or spike down. Let me check that hourly trade. I mean, it's still looking all right for a sell, it looks like. All right, let me just do an analysis of this real quick. So this looks like this would be the setup here. It would be a sell. 1 hour looks good. Let me go over here and draw my zones real quick. Just gonna give you guys an analysis of this. It's kind of messy. Yeah, in my opinion, it's kind of messy, but yeah, so I'm not going to take the trade, guys. I'll mark it up for you guys, but I'm not going to take it. I want to see what happens, but I'm not going to take it. The reason why I'm mainly concerned about it is because of the oil news. So we got about 20 seconds left on this candle. I'll just mark it up for you guys if you guys want to see it. But again, I'm not going to take this trade. So just a heads up. I'm just always curious. I always want to know what's going to happen, even if I'm not in position. You got momentum there, trend meter down below. There goes the entry. Yeah, so that'd be the entry right there for the 1 hour, but I didn't take it, of course. Powell's speaking right here. We had news. Let me check the news real quick, see what it was like. All right, so the news over here, it's pretty mixed. I mean, for the most part, it's mixed. It wasn't really one-sided for the oil news. Yeah, and there's not really much volatility. So this is typically what you don't like because you want it to just go straight to your TP right away. I mean, it's probably going to TP eventually. It looks like it's coming down, but yeah, there goes the entry. A lot of back and forth movement right there, it looks like. See, Sagner said, I'm happy that Sean will be doing V1s live going forward so we can learn the right analysis before taking it. There's always plenty of V1s and V2s, but wish we can identify 100% accuracy. Yeah, no, definitely, Sadyam. I think that's a good thing too, since a lot of you guys like that strategy. That's like one that I decided to swap out the high level momentum scalp with. So that 1 hour entry is still running, guys. I think it'll probably hit TP eventually, but you can see right here that price is starting to push up super heavy. I'm not in this position, guys, just another FYI, in case you guys are wondering, because Powell's still speaking. So,
You love it?
I'm live. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with it. All right, guys, I think that's it. It's past 8 o'clock. So if there's any question that you guys have, feel free to reach out. You guys can email me, Sean@KodiKaiTrades.com, or you guys can message me on Telegram. Again, I'm not in this position, guys. I was just showing this as an example of how I would analyze it, but there's a lot of other factors in the market indicating why I wouldn't take it. For one, there was oil news at 8 o'clock. And then I think the main thing here is Powell. I'm just worried about Powell because he could say one thing and then say something different. And this strategy actually works a lot better when the market's not as crazy volatile. Because if it's not crazy volatile, it'll like slowly push the TP, right? Like you'll get like a snail movement. You'll get like sideways, 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 and then it hits your TP like that, right? Like that's usually when the market's moving kind of slow. The problem with Powell here, when Powell's speaking, is that you'll get some crazy stuff like this. Boom, 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 and it'll get really close to your stop loss, and it comes right down to hit your TP. So you don't want to be trading when the market's doing that, because this is gonna destroy your like trade psychology, and you're gonna start to trip out because you're gonna doubt your trade. And a lot of times, if it hits your stop loss, it's because of some type of news event, right? Because it'll hit your stop loss and it'll come right back down to your TP. So just want to be a little careful. I think this will hit, but I'm not going to take it. I'm not even going to FOMO. I'm starting to get some FOMO. That's why I want to get off the live, because once I get off this live, I turn off my computer and I go to the gym. So I'm not going to take this trade right here. But anyways, guys, if you guys are new here and you guys want access to the course, just go to the website, KodiKaiTrades.com. I have a free intro course right here that'll show you all of the strategies that I've taught to everybody here over the past 7 years. So if you sign up to that, this is what the course looks like. You'll get access to all the videos here. There's a ton of videos here. And, I have like over 600 or 700 live sessions that you can watch over the past years, and mentoring sessions as well. So, all right, guys, if there's any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session as we officially close out the trading week. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys